First comes love, then comes marriage. Then comes all the problems and tribulations that you may face when you're trying to have a perfectly normal household, but you love someone of the same sex. I'm totally for gay adoption, gay marriage, and equal rights. So, with that being said, gays and lesbians should have the exact same rights as heterosexuals. They're the exact same type of people we are. They have to go to the store to buy groceries, and guess what? They have to pay taxes. They have to go to classes and get degrees and take tests. Believe it or not, they are not aliens. They're just like us. The First Amendment in the U.S. Constitution gives all U.S. citizens equal rights. And whenever we speak of someone who is gay, who is a lesbian, it seems to me that the rights that we are granted and we are promised are completely stripped away and just thrown in the back. It just does not seem fair to me. Let me begin by saying I'm straight. I'm very into guys, not girls, but I do have a brother who is gay, and he has really done a lot of research on the Constitution, and he has found only evidence that states that everyone should be created and treated equally. And whenever we look at the problems around gay adoptions and gay marriages, especially gay adoptions, we are being treated of our rights. It's unfair and unconstitutional to limit and take away opportunities just due to someone's preferences whenever you're dealing with relationships. So, a lot of people have felt the same way as I do on this particular situation, and they've actually done something about it. They went to court and had lawsuits against people. An example of a person who has done this, whose name is Martin Gill. He was a licensed foster parent. He was qualified in every way to adopt children from foster care, except for one thing, of course, his sexual preferences. He had to actually go out and get a petition and get it signed to adopt two young boys who were having an awful life and who needed a, quote, perfect Christmas or just a better Christmas than they would get in foster care. The two boys wanted him to be their father, but guess what? He couldn't adopt them. He could not adopt them because he was gay and he had a partner. So what we need to do, I think, is learn from this situation and really take into consideration what is the best interest of the child. Completely just forget about everything else, but what is going to benefit the child in the most in the long run? Because the children wanted him as a father, but he couldn't go along. How heartbreaking would that be to be in that situation and know that you could possibly help someone so much and change their life, but you're unable to strictly because something legal is holding you back because of who you love, and you can't change that, and that is absolutely heartbreaking. I think the best advice to give someone in this situation to understand my point of view is put yourself in the situation. Think of your life as it is right now, and try to wrap your mind around someone telling you you could not have your children because of who you love. So, after Mr. Gill went to the court and told them what was going on, he was able to sue them with this quote: "Really? What about couples who don't intend to have children or can't have children? Are they not married? Less married? Does society regulate children of unmarried couples to a lower legal status?" So what he's saying there is, just because, if you're completely straight, you're a wife and you have a husband and you're unable to have children, does that make you any less married? And see, that's a good way to look at it. Of course not, it doesn't. So in conclusion, there are absolutely no differences in parenting of homosexuals or the adjustment of their children. So what we need to do is realize that we cannot blame homosexuals for America's marriage problems. There are marriage problems all over the world, and we always tend to go directly towards homosexuals because we need to face it. They are easy targets, and they cannot fight back because they do not have the power, even though they should, granted by the Constitution. So on the other hand, what we have here is, it is believed that gays and lesbians cannot provide the upbringing of a traditional American family. Everyone today in the society wants a normal household, a so-called perfect household. And for some reason, it is believed that gays and lesbians cannot do this. Why? It's completely above me. But I think this little analysis of questions really narrows it down for us. Number 1, is gay adoption healthy for children? Of course it is. I don't see how in the world anyone could think it was unhealthy other than just culture. I mean, culture tells us that being gay is wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. So number 2, are good parenting abilities linked to sexual orientation? No, absolutely not. We have children being adopted by people who are not good parents. I mean, I hate to put it that way, but maybe suffering from abuse, may not have a good, income, and these children are being adopted to these bad, unstable families so often, and that is because the people that are gay are completely being turned away and they're unwanted simply because they're gay, and that's frowned upon. Number 3, are U.S. citizens being limited by their rights being taken away? Of course, absolutely they are. The U.S. Constitution, the First Amendment states equal rights. There is absolutely nothing equal or constitutional about what's been going on with gay adoption. Number 4, are the children's best interests being taken seriously? Absolutely not, and we saw that in Martin Gill's lawsuit. The children wanted him as a father, but he had to go through the entire long process just to be even considered. Luckily, it worked out for him in the long run, but just to be considered, that's awful. The children were begging and they still would not even listen to them. So, now we have a little diagram what teens think. Do you think that homosexual couples should or should not have the legal right to adopt a child? And this question was asked to teens of ages 13 through 17, and as you can see, 51% were pro-gay adoption, and 49% were against gay adoption. Now we have to keep in mind that these are teenagers, ages 13 through 19. They aren't absolutely sure of what they think or what they're for, what they're against. They're still kind of, growing and maturing. And we also have to take into account that the 51% that were pro-gay adoption really were not studying church. That's a big thing. Churches are against homosexuals, and you have to respect that. But we need to think about what's more important. I'm sure the churches are not for children being homeless, children being malnourished, children being abused. So we really need to think all these problems, these second world problems, some of the other issues that some of you are dealing with, they could be limited and decreased by being able to go through with adoptions, whether they're gay, whether they're straight, whether they're black, white. We need to stop the discrimination, and I truly believe that a lot of the problems that we are facing would go away. So it's time to face the facts. Children are lacking the opportunities to have a safe and caring household because of the same-sex adoption issues. And everyone that is against gay adoption seems to have the mentality that they fear the gay lifestyle. But what is this gay lifestyle they speak of? That's just absolutely cruel to, number 1, put someone in the category of a gay, and number 2, criticize their lifestyle when there's nothing different except for who they love. And who they love is completely out of their control. They cannot help who they love. You cannot help who you love. And once again, I'd like to refer back to the image of put yourself in the situation and think about how you would feel. So all in all, gays and lesbians are not humane just because of who they love. Like I've said a million times, and I'll say it again just to add the reinforcement, you cannot change who you love. And again, the image of yourself and your spouse or your partner being able to live in the house with them and have a family, and then all of a sudden having that taken away, that nobody would want to go through that. All people of America are supposed to be free, and this is not showing freedom at all. This is absolutely embarrassment to our country, and anyone who doesn't agree, well, that's just absurd to me. Adoption experts need to focus more on the parenting at hand than the preferences of the possible parent. This goes back to the abuse, to the incomes, the home life, rather than, oh, you like someone of the same sex. We're not even going to consider you, but we're going to give this child, the same child who may even want, prefer you, to a child who is going to abuse them or is going to not feed them correctly. We need to start showing love and equality to everyone. So, with that being said, I hope that my presentation has really made you think about what your preferences are. It's absolutely awful to put yourself in the situation. So why would you want someone else to have to live that way?